Howdy, y'all. uh, well, when I was in Southern California, I, through my little sister, I got a job in the South Coast Plaza at a store called the Nature Company, which actually was a pretty cool store. It's kind of hippie-ish and educational, and had all kinds of obscure books or nature books and stuff like that. And its orientation was more on nature and earthy stuff. And it's really cool. I didn't really fit in because I'm not really a kind of a mall person. Some people understand what I'm saying. But my boss, he hired me kind of as a favor to my sister because he liked my sister. Not had a crush on my sister. He liked my sister, and my sister's practical, this, that, and the other. So anyway, I got this job at the Nature Company. They don't exist anymore as far as I know. So I started working there, and I discovered that they had some really expensive stuff in the stores, kind of artsy-fartsy stuff. They had this clock. It was a world clock that would show a graph with sunshine and this, that. It was like $1,500. And, that sat in there. I don't know how long I worked for them for. I think it was almost 2 years or something like it. Felt like 2 years. So anyway, they had me out on the sales floor, and I would sell the cheap stuff, the little ning-a-nings. They were little rubber animals, and this, that, and the other. And I would sell a lot of them, and that's where the profit was, because, it cost them, 2 or 3 cents for a big old bag of these little rubber things. And I was selling those like crazy, and I was selling the cheap stuff like crazy. And they got kind of mad at me because I wouldn't sell the big stuff. Well, it's hard to sell the big stuff to people in the mall because, I'm not socialized with wealthy people, so I don't know the communication style. And that's just the way I was. But the one thing I do know is the way people see things. And there was one time in the mall, I didn't know that the owners of the Nature Company were coming over to visit. And so my boss, back in the storeroom, we had these halogen lights, and I know those are expensive to run, so I know why he wasn't putting everything out. But the Nature Company was kind of like a bookstore where you would have little enclaves where people could look at their stuff and everything like that. It was dark wood and dark floor. Not dark as in dreary, but woodish, like you were in the forest. So it had kind of a good feeling to it. Well, one of the things that I know with setting up retail is people respond to light. And so I was in the back, and there was a whole shelf full of all these halogen lights, and they're just beam lights, and I don't know, there was like 15 or 20 lamps sitting on the shelf. I'm like, what the heck? So just on my own initiative, I went through the store, and I used all of them. I'd put the lights at one end of the store, and I would shine it down onto something else on the opposite end of the store, so it would kind of go through this thing, and you had these reflections coming off it and these shadows. So I had all these lights. Instead of it shining straight down on something that's like saying, here it is, it's like, there it is. You're going to discover something over in the light, over at the end of the forest, or there's a shadow over there, but what's next to that? There's something else that's lit up. And that was my whole thing. Well, I had all these lights out, and there was none left on the shelves back in the storeroom. And I had all these lights up, and lo and behold, the owners who are the managers or whatever, came in. They're like, "Oh, we love this lighting, this, that, and the other." And the manager of the store, I forget his name, he got kind of mad because I wasn't the artsy fartsy type. I'm just the practical one. But I know what people see in how to present things. So he kind of got upset with me. And then I don't remember if I quit or I got fired. I had one time a guy came in from Singapore. He's a super nice guy, Chinese guy. Well, he looked Chinese. He could have been from Singapore. He could have been anything from that area, but his English was perfect. And so he started chatting with me and this, that, and the other, and he started following me around the store and everything like that. And he says, "Well, what time does the store close?" And I'm like, "Well, it's around 10 or 11 o'clock at night, South Coast Plaza. Retail is when the mall shuts down." And so I'm not used to this social aspect of, I'm a car guy, okay, and I'm not really a retail guy. I know how to set up and present things, but I'm not good at engaging with people I don't know. So here's this, it wasn't a free spirit, I'll put it that way. So this guy goes, "Well, do you want to go out for supper afterwards?" And in my head's going, "Wow." Fright time, I had to turn him down because I was just not equipped mentally or culturally or socially at the time to just, hey, let's go do something. It's just not something I ever did. So I probably sabotaged myself on that. In a way, it was a compliment because I knew a little tiny bit of Chinese and a little bit of, Cambodian and Vietnamese. So he was intrigued by that, and I'm sure he just wanted to have conversation or whatever. I didn't know what to do. But anyway, my caveat was I knew how to set up the lighting to get people to come into the store because it looked like you were going into a little forest enclave when you went in, and I had the lighting set up perfectly. And you don't always highlight something by shining the light directly down on it or by going across people. You don't want light crossing people's faces when they walk in because it's, it's like, yoy. So, my boss got kind of mad because I used all the lamps, for one thing. So the electric bill probably went straight through the roof because as soon as the management left and everything like that, he took down most of the lights. I didn't take them down because the store looked fabulous. And so that was my thing with the nature company. There was one time there I made somebody upset, and we were doing inventory. And so they had me do inventory counts on the t-shirts and stuff like that. And I know I went through and did everything correctly because I've done warehousing before. I've done inventory before. I know how to do things. And then after the inventory was done, we had a clearance sale. And all of this stuff started showing up that was supposed to have been discontinued. It should have been in the inventory count. And I knew that, somebody was sabotaging me, whatever. So, because it wasn't a big store, it's not hard to do inventory on a little dinky corner store. But the thing is, I still made the store look good. And I knew how to make sales on the cheap stuff, which is where the money is. Because those little things, we call them ning-a-nings. They're made out of rubber, and these people would come in from UCI and Orange Coast College, and the artsy fartsy types. And that's the only. I'm not being derogatory. That's just who they are. I don't care. So you can hear my machine running. So anyway, they would come in and buy these ning-a-nings, make molds, and make jewelry out of them. So they were making money. And, the store would pay 2 or 3 cents for these ning-a-nings and sell them for $0.25. That's where the money is. That's a big, huge profit on a little dinky thing. You know, and you had this $1,500 sunshine clock, you know, that you probably already paid $800 for, and you sell 2 a year. You're not making any money on that, in my opinion, because it's taking up retail space. You know, unless some rich, ultra rich person comes in and says, "Oh, I gotta have it," and it wasn't that fancy. I mean, it was interesting, but it wasn't fancy. So anyway, that's my rant with retail. I probably got a couple other retail stories, but the Nature Company, it was an awesome company to work for. I got to read all kinds of cool books for free. Who could ask for more? Somebody's a book nut. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.